Something like that.
What's up, fight fans? We are live here on the Combat Connection on the Cageside Press social media platforms. As always, I'm Brett Cagle. This is Eddie Law, and we've got a loaded show for you today. Eddie, we had a really big performance from Michael Morales this past weekend. Kind of shocking. We both picked him to win, but I didn't see him steamrolling Gilbert Burns in the first round quite like this. How impressed were you with the young fighter from Ecuador?
So it was impressive. It was definitely impressive. But what impressed me more was the respect he had for Gilbert Burns. I think everyone in the Apex knew. And when I went in there, sitting with the media and all that, like we are all watching, I think we all knew. Like Ecuador had a fucking contingent of reporters they sent just to cover him. And they were, out jumping up and down. And which, by the way, we don't do that in media. You're supposed to do that, any of that stuff. But, it is what it is. But they sent people just for that. Okay. Everybody knew what was going to happen. It's just, when was it going to happen? The fact that it happened so quickly was just like, whoa. And the shock you could see in people's faces was, is that it for Gilbert? I thought Gilbert was going to retire. It was that rough. So
yeah, I mean, that was a brutal beatdown. I'm looking at the strikes right here. 5 total strikes landed for Gilbert Burns. 835 from Morales, significant strikes. 2 of them were scored for knockdowns as well in the fight. Now, Gilbert did get a takedown, Eddie. When he got that takedown early in the fight, I'm like, all right, we might see a really interesting stylistic matchup here between the young athletic contender, in the jiu-jitsu world champion, but wasn't able to keep Michael on the ground. Michael was able to get back to his feet. This guy is so big for the welterweight division. Eddie, is he one of the best athletes you've seen? Pure athletes, not looking at the skills. There was some raw technique there with the striking. I think that he's going to have to clean up if he faces a guy like Ian Gary. But just pure athleticism, man. He reminds me of like an Anthony Rumble Johnson or somebody who's just God-gifted some of this natural ability.
He's right up there, if not above Joaquin Buckley in terms of athleticism. Buckley's an athletic freak.
That's a fight, man.
If they ever make that fight, someone's going to die. But like, dude, seeing him walk into the media room, like he's a big dude, just like you said. Like he cuts a lot of weight, you can tell. Like he went up there, he was already eating pizza and shit, and like eating, drinking, like he was all about it. So now that weight has got to be rough.
Yeah, he posted that picture on the scale on his Instagram page, 198 before he got in the cage.
Dude, So I haven't seen the weigh-in video. He was, he looked like a number 170er. He got in the cage. He's fucking. I'm like, is that a 205er? The fuck is going on?
Yeah, and as you mentioned for Gilbert Burns, it was a really tough outcome for him. Some people saying here Burns might have to retire. Buckley is facing Usman next, but I think those are the 2 best athletes in the division right now. Michael Morales obviously has to get a few wins before he gets up there to where Buckley is at. But let's talk about Gilbert Burns for a little bit. The potential of Michael Morales we think is both pretty high. I see him being a top 10, top 5 guy here for years to come. Is that kind of where you see him at before we get into Gilbert Burns?
I think so. Now he is kind of pushed a little quick. It's a little bit, right? They're basically testing him like, hey, what can you handle? Because in MMA, a loss is not as damaging as it is in boxing, right? So even if he loses the fight, like, okay, cool, we get to figure out where you're at, and then you improve. But this kid, dude, I haven't seen a kid this young, this focused, but this mature. Right now, we've seen the video already of him in like a dress with lipstick on the street. It was funny. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but in terms of
I was reading that a little bit. They were saying that it was like an Ecuadorian culture thing, maybe for like a New Year. I don't know what the deal is, but
I don't know. But in terms of like the fight game, in terms of the fight game though, like you could tell he's very, very mature and very like focused on it. So that will be fucking nuts.
Yeah, that would be a real good one. And I think that Leon Edwards probably needs to take a step back in competition here after how bad that loss was to Sean Brady. Is that who you want to see Morales fight next, Leon Edwards? There's also guys up there, Randy Brown just picked up a big win. There's people like that. I want to see him fight somebody that's kind of younger, still has some gas left in the tank. How much do you think Leon Edwards has left? And do you think he's going to, be able to challenge the young athleticism of Morales, who probably is not going to look to take him down?
Do you want to see a dead body? Put Leon in there with Morales. Leon, you cannot be timid with Morales. He will mind F you, right? So, and again, so first round, they get out, right? Touch gloves or whatever. They start going. And, Gilbert, he looks like Gilbert Burns, ready to go, smooth and everything. A little more, a little more tense, right, than normal. Mike hit him with a shot. And his face went, oh, shit, this is different.
His jabs look like they hurt.
They do. Dude, like you see like his head, Gil's head, like, oh, like, even if he was trying to like keep it straight, no. Like, Leon would get wrecked by Morales. If I'm Leon Edwards and they offer me that, I'm like, dude, I think my.
What were you saying though? You saw Gilbert react after that first big right hand that he got.
He reacted so, like, his eyes were like, oh shit, this is a different kind of power. All right, let's go again. Boom, go again. Boom, and he was getting chopped up, 35 shots, like you said, and then he got finished. That was wild. So I don't want to see him anywhere near Leon Edwards. Sean Brady though. I mean,
an interesting one as well. I'd hate to see Brady. I want to see if Shavkat comes back and he doesn't get an immediate title opportunity. I think Shavkat versus Brady for the #1 contender is the way you got to go. I don't want to see Brady after the dominant performance he just had over a champion, former champion, first guy to submit him, first guy to finish him, I believe. Him go back and have to fight a guy that's 5, 6, 7 spots behind him. I don't really want to see that for Brady, but, guys like Bilal Muhammad have had to do that. And what do you think about Bilal Muhammad? What's next for him? Do you think that could potentially be a matchup with Morales?
Morales and Bilal?
I'm sorry, Morales, yes.
No, we don't want that yet. No. Bilal, people want to shit on Bilal all they want. They can shit on the wall they want.
I don't know who Bilal's going to fight.
Who cares? Just wait till he comes back. Let's find out. Not who cares, but here's the thing. Bilal Muhammad did not fight like Bilal Muhammad against JDM. Can we agree on that?
He looked a lot worse than he had in at least game plan wise.
That's what I'm saying. He did not at all do a Bilal Muhammad game plan. I think his dumbass went in there like, I'm going to show everybody they can strike, and I got Canelo hands, and he got fucked up doing it because that's a stupid idea. But in terms of like him, he's still a top guy. I mean, relax with that. Like, I don't know who you put Morales against. Like, here, let me pull up the rankings real quick. Let's see who we got.
A lot of guys matched up with other people. We got Ian Gary as the backup fighter, or was the backup fighter for that title fight. And
Ian's not really trying to fight Morales right now.
I think Ian
eventually
if Buckley beats Usman, I think him and Ian's the fight.
Let's see, Buckley Ian.
If Buckley beats Usman, because if he beats Usman, he's going to be ahead of Gary there.
I'm not mad at it. Damn, Mike's gonna have to chill and wait then.
I really don't want to see that fight. Lynx, man. It wasn't that entertaining to me the first time, and I don't think it'd get a lot of buzz from fight fans, especially casual fight fans.
No, but you're right. Everyone being kind of booked up is gonna be tough.
Just throw the ball and see, like, hey.
So either Morales gonna have to take a fight against a guy ranked way lower than him, or he's gonna have to wait. If I'm him, I wait. I'm young.
Oh, you know who he should fight, Eddie? Carlos Prates.
No, man, let Carlos get a win. All right, I want to see those two match up with something on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like when you
put it as a main event though.
But when you get two young guys that have like potential, you don't want them to kill each other way too early. You want them to meet with something on the line, in my opinion.
Yeah, and good point here with Islam moving up as well. It's going to shake up everything. So it's going to really be log jammed at the top here, at least for the rest of 2025.
Now, if Islam wins the title, man, if I'm Michael Morales, I'm like, give me. And no, Prates versus Morales would be, in my opinion, it's too soon. I don't want that. I want something on the line for that.
I wish they'd go for the top. Yeah, top 10.
#1 contender or a title. I do not want these guys fighting now because Prates is coming off a loss, and then Morales deals him another one. Everyone's gonna be like, "Well, fucking fraud checked." Stupid ass shit like that, and I hate that.
Yeah, I
stupid
agree.
Ass betters. No.
But moving down the card here, actually, let's talk about Gilbert Burns real quick. So Burns, obviously, former title challenger, world champion in jiu-jitsu, legend of the sport, has a great podcast. But he does have things going on for him outside the ring, like the podcast. He does, have other sources of income as well. He can teach jiu-jitsu lessons and seminars and that sort of thing and have income that way. How much is left in the tank for Gilbert Burns, do you think? Probably, I don't think any of the media talked to him, probably got sent to the hospital there after that contest. But what do you think he's got left? And if he does have anything left, do you want to see him fight somebody inside the rankings or get matched up with like an aging legend to try and see him get a win and his feet back underneath him.
Gilbert needs to get back to Gilbert shit. He cannot fucking come back with the way he is now, right? In my opinion, if I'm Gilbert Burns, I heal up, chill out. The reason he didn't talk to us afterwards because he lost, right? Normally the guys that lose don't come back unless they retire and they decide they want to talk to the media, which we had that happen a handful of times. But with Gil, I want to see him come back, take a little bit more time off. I know he was gone for a minute. Take a few months off, just chill out, relax, train up, get back in your rhythm, something familiar to see, basically to see what he's got left, right? Like, because like Oda says, you want to put his comment up. He said Burns is a gladiator, but he hasn't looked great in years. He's 38. That's the thing. The older you get, the less damage you can take. I can't back squat 500 pounds anymore. I used to be able to. I do 315 now, and I'm 38, 39 years old. Right? I mean, but I'm not gonna go back and think like, oh fuck, I can do 400 or 500 because I break my shit. Yeah. Right. So that's the deal. Is how much can you take, and can you come back like you used to be? And I just don't think he has left.
Yeah, the tread on the tires, what's he got left? But I think that it's been, you bring up here in years, I think there's the specific moment to when Gilbert started to decline was that Khamzat Chimaev fight afterwards. He put in so much of himself in that Khamzat Chimaev fight. It was a war, blood and guts affair, fight of the year contender. It reminds me a lot of a guy we talked about weeks ago in Bruno Silva, who put too much of his gas into the tank against that Alex Pereira fight and then had nothing left for the rest of his, 6-fight career in the UFC. I hope that's not the same case with Gilbert Burns, who, as Linksman has mentioned, has not looked the same in years. And honestly, the tipping point kind of, to me, was that Khamzat Chimaev fight. After that, it's kind of been, hit and miss for Gilbert Burns. He beats the guy he's supposed to beat, and he's a big favorite against. But against Michael Morales and some of these younger contenders and stuff like that, he's just a big dog, and he's too aged. On the feet, he looks like he's just not as quick with his hands. The decision-making as well. It looked like he couldn't really see some of the shots that were coming in on him from Morales at all either.
I'm telling you, after he got hit that first time, he was not the same guy. It was really wild. There's a lot of guys in this game that we've seen. Not a lot. There's a few guys in this game that we've seen that will change your career. You know what I mean? Khamzat, Connor did it to a few guys. Who else?
Young Robbie.
Young Robbie. To go back even further, Brock Lesnar.
Gaethje's
one of those guys. Max Holloway's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some guys that when you fight them, like, you got to go all in only because they will shorten your career. Right?
Yeah, you better win, because if you don't, and you're Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier, you're gonna reap the rewards of that.
So I want to see Gil fight one more time, see what he has left, and I think then he'll decide. I think if next fight against someone that can fight, not a Michael Morales, but like someone a little older, but someone that Burns can match up with. But if he can't go in there and fight somebody and look like Gilbert Burns, if I'm him, like you said, he's got other things going on. I'm like, hey man, it's been a nice run. Let's call it. Maybe at best go back to jiu-jitsu. At worst, maybe some bare knuckle boxing or whatever.
Yeah, he's a guy who could make a lot of money, man. Dude, you look at these jiu-jitsu guys.
Gil Burns in fucking bare knuckle. The way that dude could hit, match him up correctly, fun fight.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in some jiu-jitsu competitions as well. I think that he's somebody who could go and instruct local gyms and make a lot of money doing seminars and stuff like that.
Dude, I would love to take a seminar with Gilbert Burns. Kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people would pay a lot of money to sit there and learn from Gilbert.
I went to a Craig Jones seminar one time, and he actually rolled. I got to roll with him, and he just made me feel like I was doing shit, and then he like giggled in his Australian ass accent and fucking submitted me with some shit. I don't even know what it was. All I know is my leg hurt like a bitch for like right away. And I'm like, tap, 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 tap. And I look back and I'm like, what the fuck was that, dude? And he's, oh man, it's okay, dog. Don't worry about it. Like, fuck you, dog. Like, but anyway,
cool. Eddie, this is a constant theme we're going to be talking about here, at least for the next couple minutes. Yeah. Islam is too small for this, but also the co-main event. I'm going to bring up the size of Santos as well when we get to that. But I believe Islam is too small. Moving up here briefly before we move on. When you look at guys like Shavkat Rakhmonov, when you look at guys like Ian Gary, Randy Brown, some of the guys who are 6'3" in this division, there's a lot of big men in the 170-pound welterweight division. And Islam Makhachev is huge for lightweight, but that 15 pounds jump is one of the biggest in the UFC. And it's the difference between him being big at 5'11", where he's at, and him being very, very small compared to Shavkat Rakhmonov, who has a very similar skill set to him as well.
And the thing with this, we're going to find out because JDM's tall as shit. He's way bigger than Islam, I think.
Yeah. I think he's like 6'1", and Islam's like 5'10", 5'11". But
let's say he's 5'11" on a good day. Like, he's gonna eat that jab. We're gonna find out how good that fucking Dagestani wrestling really is. And honestly, I think he gets him down. It's just, can you keep JDM down? Honestly, I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait for the fight.
He's not gonna come in there with the game plan of Muhammad. No way.
Oh no, he's not stupid. Islam probably giggled his ass off the whole fight. Like, it's silly fuck. All right.
That's honestly going to be a very entertaining fight, because you're going to have Craig Jones in the corner there, and then you're going to have Khabib in the corner over there. So you're going to have a lot of kind of back and forth shit talk about the grappling all week as well.
It's going to be a fun this overall build up, because they're neither one's a shit talker, but the teams are.
Yeah. I think so too. But moving on here to the co-main event, Myron Santos picked up the biggest win of his career over Sadiq Youssef, extending his undefeated record by unanimous decision, 30-27 on 2 scorecards, 29-28 on the other 2 scorecards. Going over the striking statistics here real quick, we had 71 total strikes landed for Myron Santos, 60 for Sadiq Youssef, and 17-1 the official record, or the official record of Santos. But significant strike numbers were actually closer than that. 36 for Youssef, 40 for Santos. Youssef had 1 takedown, good for 2 minutes of control time. Eddie, I had Santos winning this one. I thought he was the quicker fighter on the feet. The jab and leg kicks were lightning fast. He was in and out with his movement. But here's the thing. You got a guy who's 5'7", 5'8" here in the lightweight division. And like we just mentioned with those guys at welterweight, you got Bahamondes, you got Jalen Turner, you got other guys who are a lot bigger than Santos when he moves up here. Do you think that I think that the potential for Santos to be a legitimate title challenger is down at 145 pounds?
So he knows that. Here's the thing. So he's a 45er. Okay. So is Sadiq Youssef. This fight was made with like 6 weeks notice, something like that, 4 weeks notice, not enough time for him to cut down. Myron told us that he cuts 40 pounds to get to 45, and he hates that weight cut. Okay. Yeah. So this fight just happened to be 155. Let's not get excited. I don't want to see either one of these guys at 155. Go back to 45 if you really want a chance to make a move, right? But everyone's just like, oh, he looked great at 55. He wasn't fighting a 55er. He was fighting a 45er that was at 55 pounds. That's all it was. So relax, people. That being said, the kid can crack, dude. He's fun. He's a good
great
fighter.
Striker. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Down at 45, when you're not talking about these giants up here at 150, his skill set matches up with guys. It really does. He's
still young. So if I'm him, I just keep cutting weight, make a run at 45. And when I start, when it gets to be too much, if he really wants to make a run at the title, then you talk about moving up. But it's a difficult ask. And Sadiq was dealing with we had long layoff. He was dealing with injuries, all kinds of stuff. So hopefully he's okay. And he, this is a nice little. I guess it wasn't a great welcome back because he lost, but a nice little warm up.
That's the thing. When I was going to talk to you about is Sadiq got into the top 15, but if you go back and look at his record, he has not really beaten that. The strength of his schedule, he's not beaten that many top level guys. Do you think that he was more of a flash in the pan in the top 15 rankings? And do you think he'll ever get back to where he was, pre Edson Barboza fight ranking wise?
Edson Barboza, another guy that will take your soul. No, he ain't gonna get back to what he was before. I don't think. Watching him fight in there, there's a lot of things where guys and girls fighters can get like a PTSD of sorts, right? Like you've seen guys that go in there, they're just killers on the feet, they're knocking people out left and right. They take on a Habib or an Islam, a wrestler, just a Dagestani wrestler, takes them down over and over again. That next fight, they're so scared of getting taken down. They're like, they're just, and I think it's a mental thing, right? So I don't know if that's what Sadiq has or not, but the losses and the injuries and all that, it will get into their head. And if they can't manage that correctly, they're not getting back to what they were. And again, time stops for no one. Time stops for nobody.
Speaking of time, I was going to say, do you think Sadiq needs to take 6 months off? Or do you think he needs to get back in there and immediately try and because it's a weird situation. If you're his coaches, I don't know if I want him to sit out and gain confidence back, maybe stay in the gym and sharpen up the skills, or if I want him to get back out there and just pick up a win and maybe that boosts the confidence. What do you think the next move is for him?
Take a couple of months off, see where the mistakes you made against Santos were, work on those, take another 3 months to work on that, and then take a fight. So take like 5 months off and get back. And then again, it's not the same as Gilbert because I don't think Sadiq is anywhere near as old as Gilbert, but definitely like like, dude, you have a loss now. When you start having, I don't know if he has consecutive losses. I think he just one. I'm not, maybe two. I can't remember. But either way, when you start losing
finished
streak,
by Lopez, I know that recently.
Yeah, there you go. So it might be two. So let's say it's two in a row right now. Like, it's in your head now. Like, you need your next shot needs to be a good one. It has to be a good one. So you got to make it count.
Yep. Absolutely. But for Santos, big win for him. It was very impressive. Moving back down to 145 pounds, I really like his potential for the future. But moving along down the fight card, we've got a lot to talk about. Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Eddie, I had the commentary off for this one, and there was a lot of control time for Stoltzfus in this. I wasn't really hearing what people were saying online. It looked like people were favoring Ruziboyev, but from my eye, I wrote an article on this, and it looked like Dustin Stoltzfus maybe had done enough to win that fight. I know towards the end of the third round, that was a Nursultan Ruziboyev round. But how did you have this one scored? You normally favor the damage over the control, but I'm interested to see what your scorecard was.
I went 29-28, all three for Ruziboyev. But I thought it would have been a split because it was that close. But a lot of it too was all of us expected a finish from Ruziboyev. This should not have been a close fight at all. And the fact that Dustin, first of all, Dustin's a fucking dog. I mean, a dog for doing what he did, right? And Ruziboyev had to give him the respect for that. But I was a little disappointed in Ruziboyev. To be completely honest, I was disappointed because he's a guy that wants to make a run, wants to show us like, yeah, I'm the dude, I'm that guy, I'm him, whatever. But those kind of performances aren't going to prove anything against the guys you should have been able to destroy in the first round. Like, come on.
It's not going to get you a matchup that you want in the future either.
No, he can ask for whoever he wants, but he ain't getting it. I wouldn't. If I'm the promoter, I don't give it to him. I'm like, nah, you take whoever we give it till you show us that you deserve it.
Yeah.
Personally.
And, it's frustrating kind of for him, too, because I don't think he's lost in the middleweight division since coming to the UFC. That one loss was to Buckley at welterweight, but he stopped good guys like Bruno Ferreira at middleweight. Everybody thought he was going to win this fight big, but he actually wasn't the biggest betting favorite. I don't know what Vegas knew in this one, but they didn't even have him as 3.5 to 1, which we were surprised by coming into the show. But it was a lot closer fight than everybody thought, so they were actually
on the money.
right about that.
Yeah, they were on the money, and we were talking about it with some of the guys in the media. And while the fight was going on, I was just like, dude, is this fight going to be a split? Because it looks like I would score it a split, 29-28, split. But the 30-27, that's ass. I don't know who the fuck put that out there, but you're a trash ass judge.
Yeah, I know.
Trash ass judge. Okay, whoever you are, fuck off. That's terrible. But 29-28 should have been split in my opinion. But either way, like the right guy won in my opinion. But hats off to Dustin, dude. He was a dog for just saying fuck it, we're fighting.
Yeah, he really was. Threw down. Hung tough as well. Looked for takedowns. Got some. But for Ruziboyev, big guy, 6'4", 6'5" at middleweight division, very long. I believe he's got like 38 career finishes already. I think he's got over 50 fights. Yeah. So very impressive record for him. We'll have to see what he's got moving forward, and if any of that experience eventually catches up to him as he moves up in competition at 185 pounds. But Eddie, the fight of the night this week was between Melky Costa and Julian Erosa. This was an absolute war back and forth. Melky Costa proving that he can hang tough with veterans of the sport, kind of proving that toughness that some people questioned early in his career. And he hung very good in this one. And really, in that first round, I thought that he was much quicker than Erosa, put leg kicks on him, the jab as well. Just looked like the faster, younger fighter there for the first two rounds. And I think that he might have gassed himself out, and Erosa was able, to come back there in that third round. And I thought Erosa did win that third round as well as the three judges. How did you have this one scored? And were you impressed with the toughness of Melky Costa, which we haven't seen previously?
I had 29-28, all three. So in my opinion, they got it right. But I thought Erosa was like biding his time. And then he realized that first round, he's like, oh shit, this young boy gonna mess me up. Like, I better, survive it and do enough to keep it close. And I think in the third round, he finally realized Costa did gas out because he did. And he had that nasty fucking toe was almost falling off his foot. So that was pretty bad. We didn't get him. He had to get watching the fight. You immediately, like I saw, we were watching the fight and I was like, he ain't coming back here. We ain't gonna get to talk to him. We didn't because he got transported immediately, which honestly smart. But dude, he grew up in this fight. This is one of those fights where like every fighter has that fight where they're like, I'm okay, I'm here. Like this I have it now. And in my opinion, this is what it was. Like he had to survive that third round, and he did it, and he pulled off the win. So I don't know what you do with him next, but either way, super tough kid. I have like mad respect for him.
Yeah, man, and he's so good on the ground. And in this one, we're kind of talking about it. These are two elite grapplers that were coming in here. So the fight really took place standing. It wasn't the most technical back and forth kickboxing affair throughout, but it was highly entertaining to say the least. One fight of the night in the 50 grand bonus. So congratulations to both of those guys. Definitely the best fight on the card. Eddie, how impressed were you with this card as a whole? Gabe Green also getting a come from behind victory by submission on this one. He looks good down at since moving down in weight as well. So what did you think of this card as a whole, and what was your card rating before we move to the news?
Well, let's start from the night. Friday night. Okay, first fight of the night, Tisha, unanimous. Hats off. Awesome to see her get a win. She was very emotional. Her father just passed away not long ago. You guys check out her scrum over at youtube.com/@Cageside Press. She was very emotional about her father, and then super happy that she's a mom, and honestly, it's always fun to talk to her. She's cool. Then again, sub from Park, that was dope.
Park looked good.
Yeah,
Denise Gomes looked good.
Gomes, not TKO. Luana Santos, submission. Yadira Valle is like, hey bitch, I'm here, submission. And he's a knockout guy. This guy's a striker. He subbed the dude.
Prelims were cracking with finishes. Jared Gordon KO was nasty.
Violent knockout I've seen in a long time. One hitter quitter. When's the last time you saw one of those?
About Emmett Mitchell. That's about it. About 3 years, 2 years.
And please check out his post fight if you want to laugh your ass off. Please, yes, we are parallels 100%. But please go watch his post fight with us. He's the most honest fighter in the post fight ever. He was giving Patty Pimblett his props, and people were like talking about calling him a nut hugger and shit like that in the comments. But he didn't give a fuck. He was like, nah, dude, that guy's fun. He goes, that guy's got the greatest walkout ever. Like, he's so much fun. Please go watch his post fight. It's totally worth the 15, 16 minutes he was there talking to us. But again, massive knockout for Jared Gordon. And I'm not mad if you give him the rematch against Patty, by the way. But who else we have? Gabe Green, submission. And then, let's see, war-ish, solid fight, nasty finish. 8 out of 10 for an Apex card. An Apex 8 out of 10.
I was going to say 7.5, 8. I thought it was a really, really good card. And for the prelims, it kept you entertained leading into the main card as well.
Dude, it was hard. It was hard to sit there and do scrums in the prelims when we were like, I was trying to keep track on because you've been there. The fucking TVs are behind the fight.
You go out, you got to come back in.
I'm doing this the whole time. Like over there, MMA junkies asking questions, and I'm over here like, okay, cool. He's asking questions. I'm just trying to listen. I don't sound stupid asking the same shit. And I'm like, oh yeah. Okay, yeah, dude. But I'm doing this the whole time because the fights were sick. So for everyone that shits on the Apex, eat it. It was fun. Yeah. Can we talk about this?
Good card there. I'm kind of disappointed that we don't have a card coming this week, but
No. Go back. Turn that off real quick. No, sir. No. Let's talk about it. There are too many goddamn UFC cards. Way too many. Too many. I am happy as shit that not only does the production get a break and PR get a break, all those, everyone behind the scenes needs a break. They are the UFC employees. Think whatever you want of Dana and everyone on top and everything. The support staff, A+, A1, whatever you want to call it. Some of the best. I'm happy as shit they're getting a break. But we need less cards, less watered down shit. That way Netflix actually picks it up. Okay, folks? Because you think Netflix is going to pick up the UFC to put on fucking Apex cards?
I think they might because I'm sitting here and I'm scrolling through Netflix on Monday night and all I see is advertisement for Monday Night Raw. I turn on Monday Night Raw. I don't see John Cena or anybody. I see people that I don't know. So.
And they might. But if I'm Netflix, I'm not paying you $5 billion or whatever you're asking for the next how many ever years to give me fucking watered down Apex. Not even Apex, just watered down cards as a whole. Some of these city cards that do. Tennessee's being. No offense, Derek Lewis. I'm a huge Black Beast fan.
That's the worst headliner I've seen.
Why the fuck are they headlining Tennessee? Are you guys fucking tripping right now? Okay.
Eddie, it's so bad that I'm going to go to a fight in June in Nashville.
Jason
Jackson, Thad Johnson. And that's a better fight. That's a better fight.
Mick Maynard. PFL's going to drop this ball. Pick those two guys up, please.
That's a great fight. That's the best fight that they've had since Usman and Paul Hughes.
We need those two guys in the UFC. We really do.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to the news. And actually, Perlez, I have no clue what you're talking about. But if there's a video,
I'll tell you right now. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, here's what happened.
I'll do a little breakdown of the news. Do you have a video on it?
No. I can find one. Go ahead, do whatever
All
you
right,
got to do.
so
I'll see if I can find
a
it.
little bit of news and fight announcements. We did have a pay-per-view announced for Chicago. Khamzat Chimaev will be taking on Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title. A highly anticipated contest there. The UFC has not been back to the city of Chicago in 5 calendar years. Pre-COVID was the last time they came back to the Midwest's biggest city. So that's a big event there that will be held at the United Center where the Bulls play. Eddie's trying to find the video for us now, but that is one of the announcements. Another announcement coming was Patchy Mix to the UFC. He debuts against Mario Batista at the upcoming UFC 316 pay-per-view, which will be happening June 7th. Also on that card is O'Malley versus Merab 2. Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison for the women's bantamweight title. That Joe Pyfer versus Kevin Gastelum fight, me and Eddie were campaigning for it to get put on one of these cards recently, actually got put in right on this pay-per-view as well. So there's actually a very good main card for this UFC 316 contest that's coming up. But Eddie, do you have the video ready?
Yep. Here you go. So this is exactly like Perlis just said, Russian Jake Paul. So this dude comes in, you see the guy with his hands up, talking all loud, talking shit, doing the thing, whatever. So you go hugs John Jones, hugs fucking rando dude, whoever that is, and then he goes up to Nate Diaz, and this is where it gets kind of nutty. So not him, but the other guy. Hold up. See all the weird shit. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, and trying to be the
he wants to be eccentric and
some fucking dude, selfies and shit. Oh, come on with the video. I wish I had they had like the fast forward. But in a second, he goes over to Nate and does thing, daps him up, all this other shit, tries to do what he did with John Jones. But then he starts saying, like, messing with Nate a little bit and saying, like, I'm gangster too. And then it fucking goes off the rails.
These dudes start scrapping?
They start scrapping, bro. Let me see if I hate that Instagram doesn't have a fucking little, fast forward shit.
With Jones in the ring.
There he goes. So they dap him up. He starts pulling him, messing with him. Nate's like, back up. Nate doesn't play like that at all. He has not played like that ever. Now he's like, I'm gangster too. Look at that. All the guys start getting up. Everyone starts, Jake Shields is so, they start going. You see him? They start going. Nate's talking to him. Nate doesn't give a fuck. He's going up to him. But now you got an entire crew of people coming up and shoving the dude. And then the Russians all getting involved. So there's some Dagestanis in the thing. Like look at it. It gets fucking bad. He starts throwing hands. Or at least pretending to. He looks scared shitless, to be honest with you.
Is this put on? Is this like put on?
I don't know. Nate left. I think it was real.
He swatted at him and left.
Yeah. No, like so they're going, and then brawl.
If you're around these guys, you can't. Like John Jones is somebody. He's the top of the food chain, right? Like he's the lion of the jungle. He's not. He don't worry about nobody, right? But when you're Nate and you're one of these guys who's like 170 or whatever, you can't be touching around on these dudes and like acting like they're your little brother or some shit. Like
so it gets a little worse.
Ain't gonna go good.
It gets a little worse after that, and it gets like
Nate does it really?
Yeah. But it's just too long of a fucking video. But Nate just open hand slaps him, and they go. Everyone's going right.
Shields got stomped on.
Shields got stomped fucking on. Like Shields was on the ground, and this Russian stomping on him. It was rough, folks. Go look at the video. It's all over the place right now. Yeah, it's all over the place right now. They try to cool it down, and everything, and then it just didn't get any better. But and
Nate was gone by that time, and Shields was still there.
Oh, hang on,
and got caught up.
I got you. Here it comes. They're going. They are going. Look at him.
That's the guy who was talking all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Who fights like this? Like, dude just asking to get popped in the mouth.
Yeah. Oh, the big dude. I know that guy too.
He goes after the fattest guy in the room.
I know him.
So he goes on he tries to fight the easiest dude in the room.
Yeah. No, well, he's not a fighter, I'll tell you that much.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're overweight and not a fighter, like, why are you trying to?
He's just a giant fucking dude.
Yeah. So
Shields got stomped on, then he finally helped him up, and then someone else is getting fucking shoved around. Like, it just gets stupid. But we've seen plenty of shit with Russians, Russian promotions, where like they're
they'll just throw down. They don't get.
They just throw down, and I'm like, you guys are fucking stupid. But again, Russia doesn't care. They let these guys just go. So again, that's basically what happened. So
I hope Nate didn't start that, and then his boys get outnumbered and him not even be there when that happened.
Oh no, Nate was still, Nate stuck around. Nate will fight anybody.
Oh, okay.
No, Nate left. I mean, he fucking left. Like he went home.
Oh, I got
This
it.
is in Russia. He left the show. That's what I meant by that. Him and Jake fucking bailed.
Yeah, I'd bounce too. Get me the hell out. Honestly, if I'm John Jones and saw that, I don't know what point John Jones bounced from the room, but
from all accounts, the production is ass. Like they do not know what the fuck they're doing, like at all.
Some of these news headlines coming out though, Eddie. We both covered Patchy Mix extensively in his Bellator career. Been there for his title fights. He is now going to be facing Mario Batista at this upcoming UFC 316 pay-per-view. You called for this last week. You wanted to see it. People have been calling for Mario Batista's head ever since that Jose Aldo fight. They didn't like how he performed in that one. And he's facing one of the best finishers in the world in Patchy Mix. He can get it done standing. He can also get it done with the submissions. In my opinion, looking at this is a matchup nightmare for Mario Batista. If he tries to get this one to the ground and do the grappling strategic thing like he did against Jose Aldo, he's going to open himself up for a submission just like Magomedov did. And if this fight stays standing, I think that Patchy Mix has more weapons. How do you see it going, and how excited are you to see him at the highest level of the sport now?
Mario is not keeping Patchy on the fence, folks. It is not happening. He better not think that's going to work. But I'm hyped as fuck. So we got word early on the night that announcement was going to be made. So we were ready for it. Not to mention, Patchy walked in, and I saw him, and I was like, oh, shit. Because I did not see, what's his girlfriend's name? Or
Tatiana.
Tatiana. I did not see Tatiana anywhere. So I was like, Tatiana's not here, bro. Oh, shit. Like, I was like, we all got kind of giddy in the media when we saw him. And so I was like, oh, shit. All right, cool. So then they make the announcement. We're all like hyped as shit. I'm hyped as shit, right? We're not getting excited in the back, but I'm hyped as fuck. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, dude, we can get him? We can get him back here? Yeah. Oh my God, we got him back here. I'm like, yes. So fucking dope to see him in there. He's like, I'm ready to show. He's hyped, dude. He's ready to go. Like he is a man on a fucking mission, and I can't fucking wait to see it. And I did ask him, like, how frustrating has it in this last year and change been that you didn't get to fight? He was like, it was frustrating, man. I can't lie, man. I was bitching a lot. My family heard it all the time. Like I was laughing, dude. But he was honest. He was like, yeah. But he said, he's like, I'm not blaming one single person. It's okay, Patchy. I'll blame him for you, Don. Nice one, Don.
Patchy Mix is a great guy. I actually have a funny story. When he won the title against Sergio Pettis, I went out after the fight, and I was, drinking with Dylan Rush. We went to a bar. We come back to the Fighter Hotel like 2 a.m, and Patchy Mix is like, hey, man, I had a vape pen. We're in Chicago. It's all legal and stuff. And Patchy goes, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, it's vape. And he's like, is it weed? I was like, yeah. He takes it out of my hand, starts hitting on it. He goes into the lobby, starts talking to Gilbert Melendez. We go into the hotel elevator. I was so drunk, I didn't know that you had to put like your hotel key card to get to your room or whatever. And Tatiana's like, oh, I got you, and did it for me and stuff. And I was like, oh, you guys are nice.
No, they are cool ass people. I haven't talked to Tatiana ever, but I got to talk to Patchy once before this, and he's a fucking dope guy. He's cool.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah.
And they're both going to be in the UFC now. So, hey, maybe they might even be fighting on the same card. That'd be kind of cool.
Depends who. 316s.
Not like immediately, but maybe.
Oh, no. Yeah. Eventually they will. And I think we asked him about that. He was like, yeah, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then Khamzat DDP, you've already got your credential in for Chicago, excited to go. This is one of the biggest pay-per-view events in years. And honestly, in the middleweight division, the biggest fight in the middleweight division since that Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira trilogy. And Khamzat Chimaev is finally getting his opportunity at Championship Gold. And it's going to be the first time that UFC's been to Chicago in 5+ years, Eddie. How big is this card?
It's the first time that a politician has ever done anything positive. In being able to get Chimaev into the country. God damn it. About fucking time, you assholes. Anyway.
I was going to say, if you need illegals somewhere in the United States, Chicago will take them.
Make it happen, right? But anyway, you're right. Like, this is, a lot of people think this is a crowning moment. I don't buy that. I think this is going to be a really good fight for at least 3 rounds. And then we're going to get to see if either guy gasses out. We've seen Khamzat gas out. We've seen DDP pretend to gas out. Is someone, what's going to give, right? And I think
that's what I'm saying. One of these guys, this is going to be like a war of attrition because I don't see either one finishing the other like super quick. And kind of both have struggled with the cardio later in rounds and fights before. Like, I think this is going to get really gritty in that 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. And like, this could be one of the best fights just stylistically from the entertainment value of this that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you got to build a card under this for sure. And like, it won't be like a bunch of killer fights because that main event's good, really good on its own. But you're gonna get a solid co-main. You get a good main card and all that's gonna be dope. I can't wait. Honestly.
You want to know the fight I want to see, Eddie, on the prelims? I'm calling for this now, and I hope the media can get around this. So when they brought Jeremy Stevens back, right? Nobody thought that was going to happen. He was the hometown guy in Iowa. They needed to fill the seats, right? He looked so good against Mason Jones that everybody's like, you got to keep him. You got to keep him. There was one guy, Eddie, that over the last 2 years didn't get his rightful send-off that was a UFC Ultimate Fighter winner and competed and is in a UFC Hall of Fame matchup, and that was Clay Guida, the Chicago native. I want to see Jeremy Stevens versus Clay Guida in a battle of Midwest veterans. I got to see it. Clay
Guida, Jeremy Stevens in Chicago, winner and loser leave. I'm good with
that. Yeah, I mean, it's a good fight.
I'm saying, no, there'd be a war.
Yeah, winner and loser leave, probably.
Yeah, no, winner and loser both leave. You're both out of here, but have a fight in Chicago 100%. No, that'd be dope. I'm down with that. Why not?
Yeah, two Midwest legends. I feel like they could draw.
You could put that as the feature prelim, honestly, because Guida will draw for sure, and Jeremy's a heavy hitter.
If you put it as the second fight of the night, I mean, people would show up early to watch it.
Yeah. No, 100%. So, I mean, there's a lot of matches you can make that are gonna be fun and interesting that are Chicago like I want to see Bahamondes on there if he can. He's a
got to.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna put Bilal on there unless he wants to get back that quickly, and I don't think he wants to.
I doubt it, but
so he's gonna wait to see what pans out in 85 or 70. But there's a lot of matches. I'm excited as shit. Now I get to fucking finally meet you in person and go get a beer and shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we can.
My boy Daniel Cunningham's also gonna be there. I can't wait to see that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. And Chicago's got some of the best food in the world, so might have to go get something to eat. But
who the fuck is that guy? Bahamondes?
John Jones.
Hey, hold up. Perilous. Google Ignacio Bahamondes and just go to YouTube and watch his fights. You'll find out who he is. Go ahead.
Yeah, he had that spinning back kick over Roosevelt Roberts that's been on the highlights for quite some time.
He's only going to get better, too. He's young boy. He's going to get better.
Yeah. But, Eddie, I do want to talk to you about John Jones. It's the big story that's going around right now. Everybody's saying that this fight is not going to happen. Dana, on the other hand, just came out last week and said, I've got a plan for this, guys. Don't freak out. This is going to get made before the end of the year. But we see John Jones sending out a different message. I don't know if this is negotiation tactics. You just showed a video of him in Russia doing who knows what. He was in Thailand over the weekend on some dude's motorbike doing who knows what. He's not by his family. He's probably out partying, living his best life, as he says on Instagram and in some of these videos. Do you think he's serious about defending this title again this year? And at what point in the calendar year do we start hitting panic mode? Kind of like last year with McGregor when he, had the foot injury and then international fight week didn't happen. And somewhere we got into July and August, we're like, this guy ain't coming back and he might not come back ever again. When do we start hitting that panic mode for John Jones?
Real quick. All right, I got you now. Yeah, he did. Connor did say that. But speaking of Connor, same thing. None of us ever believed he was going to come back. And Dana kept saying, he's coming back. Oh, yeah, he'll be back soon. Oh, yeah, we're talking to him now. Dana came out, 2 weeks ago, and he was like, shit, I haven't talked to Connor in forever. I don't know what's going on. He ain't fighting anytime soon. Dana, that's what he's doing right now with John Jones, right? He's holding out hope to convince John Jones to fight. I think, to me, it's stupid as hell that everyone says he's ducking Tom, right? Like that. No, but I don't buy that he's ducking anybody. I think John Jones just likes to be a dick. So he's just gonna be a dick. And he's gonna make everyone wait. He's gonna piss everybody up because guess what? He holds all the cards. He's the GOAT.
And he don't want to fight on some random card and just get like penciled in like he is. It's kind of like in the NBA with LeBron James, right? The star deserves special treatment, and he's the star, and he deserves special treatment regardless of what he's done. He does not deserve to get treated and penciled in like everybody else and just a filler pay-per-view headliner. Do you think he's kind of holding out for a Madison Square Garden card at the end of the year? I think there's one coming up in New York. What time slot do you think he's really wanting? Is it a venue? Is it a time of the year? What's really holding him up? Because like you said, I don't think he's scared of any man ever. But at the same time, he is kind of playing hardball over something, whether it's money, whether it's a venue, whether it's the time of the year.
To me, I don't think he wants to fight anywhere but in New York. Honestly, I don't think he wants to fight anywhere but New York, and I don't blame him. again, this is where, and I kept saying, I didn't say it a lot, but I said it a few times where I was like, every time Dana's like, oh, he's the greatest of all time, he's the GOAT. And I'm like, man, Dana's going to regret saying that, right? He's going to regret, because now you can't call him anything except the GOAT, right? And the GOAT gets that, like you said about LeBron, the GOAT gets the cards. When Michael Jordan came back to the All-Star game for the top 75 celebration, and no one knew he was there, did you hear that crowd in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Exploded. The announcer barely finished saying a 6-time NBA champion, and the place freaked out. Okay, freaked out. Same thing for John Jones. Same thing for John Jones is going to be. So, John, I think he'll fight. I don't care if he does, to be honest with you. I'm kind of done with all the theatrics. To me, it's stupid, but he holds the cards. But I think it's a November date, maybe December date in New York. I don't think he wants to fight anywhere but New York anymore. John Jones is all about big fights. Vegas, I'm assuming he's not big enough for him anymore. And honestly, I think he doesn't want to be told what to do.
I don't think he wants to be told what to do, but there's more on this fight than I think he realizes. He already is the greatest martial artist that's ever lived. He is arguably the greatest fighter that's ever lived. From a historical standpoint, people look at it and say Muhammad Ali. Now, Muhammad Ali has done more for mankind in America, and Muhammad Ali is the greatest, no doubt about it. But if we're looking at technical skill of the sport, who is the actual best fighter that's ever lived? John Jones is one of them. And if he goes out there and beats Tom Aspinall and gets through 30 fights undefeated, basically, I know the Matt Hamill loss shouldn't even be there, but it is. But he gets through 30 fights undefeated and goes through Tom Aspinall, who's going to be the next best heavyweight, next generation. He might be the greatest athlete that's ever lived, Eddie.
Yeah, he might be. He really might be. And again, like, he's doing this shit all the time where it's like how do you put it? Like, he's playing his card. He's the GOAT. Fuck, all due respect to Matt Hamill, fuck that loss. He didn't lose.
No,
that was garbage. He's undefeated champion.
But he's better than these guys in the other sports. When you look at the other sports, the top stars in other sports, he's better than LeBron James. Like, he's better than these other guys and exceeds. Like, when he just went out there and beat Stipe, he did it in style. You don't see LeBron and those guys at the age that they're at now still going out styling on these young guys like Ant Edwards and stuff like that. He's still at the top of the heap. He's still the pound for pound number one. He's still the heavyweight champion. I mean, it's impressive what he's doing.
Yeah, I think he's going to frustrate the hell out of Tom Aspinall, honestly. Like, a lot of people talked about, kept talking about he's afraid.
High school wrestling.
Yeah.
A little bit different than cage fighting, but yeah, Matt. Hey, did you actually? I saw something online that was going around. Speaking of Matt Riddle, that Goldberg went up to Matt Riddle, the wrestler Goldberg from back in the day, the football player. And he tried to he didn't know he was a fighter, tried to big brother him, shoulder ran into him in the hallway. And he's like, watch where you're going, young man. And he came up, he's like, oh, Goldberg, you're going to be here after the show. Come talk to me and all this stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm not your bro, first of all. And he's saying all this stuff to Matt. And Matt just laughed at him because he knew he could just beat the shit out of this old guy. But
Matt's like, I hope you like your ankles broken, bitch.
Matt wasn't wearing shoes either.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not to mention, Matt Riddle's a fucking psychopath. Right, that guy's a nutcase when it comes to fighting.
He would have been a good fighter, man. If he didn't get cut, he would have been decent, like Sean Strickland or one of these guys.
If weed was the stupidest fucking rules that weed was legal, but if weed wasn't legal back then, he'd have been good. I won't say he would have been champion, but he'd have been fun to watch. No, but yeah, no. It's been, end of the day, just to finish off John Jones. Mm-hmm. I think he'll fight again, but it's gonna be on his terms when he wants to, and Tom just might as well just wait. And if Tom doesn't want to wait, great. Take a fight against fucking Curtis Blades or somebody.
I mean, it's going to be so disappointing. Here's the larger thing to all of this, in my opinion, is that when we watched the UFC 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we fell in love with this sport, whenever it was, they made the fights we wanted to see every single time. The last 3 big fights that the UFC fans have clamored for, Jones and Ngannou, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, and Jones versus Aspinall. If all 3 of those fights don't get made, that is so damning to the UFC to where they are at now compared to where they were under the Lorenzo Fertitta regime. In my opinion, that these guys like Hunter Campbell and all these dudes who want to say that they're the greatest of whatever they did. This is ran by one guy and one guy only. It's Dana White. And I just don't think that his hands are on it as much as they used to be back in the day. And that's kind of why these fights aren't getting made. Now, I am all for praising Hunter Campbell and for doing the job that Dana used to do because he don't have the time or interest anymore and still has to be the figurehead. I understand the whole deal. But at the bare bones of it, we're not getting the fights that we wanted to see. When Nick Diaz came over from Strikeforce, we knew he was fighting George at some point. They gave us BJ Penn before it happened and Carlos Condit, but we knew that fight was coming. we don't see these fights getting made at the same level that they were. Is that concerning to you, Eddie, not only as a journalist, but as a fight fan?
Yeah, I think, time comes for us all, man. Maybe Dana is done. Maybe Dana doesn't want to do this shit anymore. I mean, he's already, he went after Power Slap. Now I don't know when the last Power Slap was.
He just got taken off of he was supposed to promote Terrence versus Canelo. He got taken off of that.
He got taken off of that. That's another whole fucking issue. But I think, I think you're right. I don't think he's as involved as he used to be. Right. Like he skipped the last 2 or 3 pressers, right? Something like that.
It's been 3 or 4 cards, and I'm sure it has something to do with him and Turkey and what's going on in boxing and all that. But at the same time, if you don't show up for pay-per-views in Montreal, you don't show up to get asked about you getting left off of this. Like, obviously, you would have loved to have asked him last week about why you got taken off of the promoter for that fight. It's a big fight, and they actually rescheduled the fight to the same day as UFC Noche. Yeah.
That's a whole nother fucking miss. This is wild, dude. So I think Dana's starting to see his way out, and I think we are seeing the Hunter Campbell era start. And you're gonna have to give him time to build. Well, it just started, dude. Like, it hasn't been that
I know,
long.
But I see the way he's talking to the fighters and stuff in some of these countdowns. It's like, do you remember when they had Aljo and Merab Dvalishvili, and they had Ray Longo backstage, and he was kind of like pressuring him to fight Merab and all this stuff, and Ray was there, and he had never met Ray in person. And he was talking to Aljo like they've had 1,000 different conversations and they're like best buddies and all this stuff. And then he goes to Ray and his attention goes there, and Ray just sticks his hand out. He's like, "Nice to meet you," after he basically was bitching for 15 minutes in front of Ray.
Yeah,
and it's like, I just think that this guy is an executive type. He's a good businessman, probably. Does he love the sport? I'm sure he does. But is he Dana White? No. I just would love to see the interest back in Dana for what we saw 10 years ago. Where is him going and yelling Conor McGregor as he fights Floyd Mayweather, and he's acting like he was so invested in the sport, and he is one of the reasons this sport has gotten as big as it is because his interest in it as well.
He's just doing superhuman protocol fucking Instagram stories the whole time. Let me, I'm my ice bath, boys, ice bath. Like he's I don't know what the fuck he's doing, honestly.
You think he's I'm not his own brand?
I don't know what he's doing. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing, and honestly, I think he doesn't care that anyone knows or doesn't know. He's up there, dude. He's 50-some years old. He's getting up there. He's doing ice baths and fucking laser beds or whatever the fuck he's doing. All that weird Gary Brecka fake shit. Y'all can get mad if you want to. That's just garbage. I don't give a fuck. That guy was
anti-aging and all that. Yeah,
he's a scammer. He was in prison anyway. But either way. I look, it just happens, man. Every commissioners come and go. David Stern, went and came Adam Silver, and everyone's bitching about the game now. Everyone has their different ways to go. Yeah. Who knows what Hunter Campbell's going to be like?
Kind of weird though, man. Because that's a great point. David Stern and these guys do come and go, but they didn't. It's not like they invented the sport, and Dana didn't invent the sport, no doubt about it. But he brought it to prominence from a very mediocre product. And in that terms, he brought it to the national spotlight and invented it into the American audience and the American, ecosystem of the top 4 sports in the country. So it's frustrating when you got a guy who you don't know if he loves it either in Hunter Campbell, like Dana used to. I think you got to have a guy like when you see Saki Kabara and he puts on those shows over in Ryzen and Pride before that. That's a dude who, no doubt about it, loves the sport and takes pride in, no pun, but takes pride in putting on good shows production-wise, and would be mad at himself if something, didn't live up to his expectation. Mm-hmm. I don't see that with Dana anymore. I don't know what his own expectation even is for these events. No. Maybe he's just so numb to it, and he's been through so many of them, it's rinse and repeat, and it's dull anymore. Yeah. But,
after a while, dude, I mean, look, I play NBA 2K. Pretty much every night. Sometimes I'm tired of, picking the Suns and fucking my career mode and taking them to the championship 15 years in a row. That's what I do, because we suck. But after a while, that shit gets boring. Winning all the time gets boring, right? Video games anyway.
And they have no competition. That's the thing. There's no one there that lights the fire under his ass anymore, like Japan did when he had to conquer the Giant over in Pride, or Strike Force, or even when Bellator. There's not even a Bellator to sit here and
honestly,
tickle his balls for whatever,
As much as you don't like the Hunter Campbell's doing the job he's doing right now, I think Dana's done. I want not done, but close to it.
I do too. But when he was at his prime, we did see those fights, and I just don't think Hunter is going to be able to make them like he did.
We'll find out. That's the best part of it. We'll get to find out. So I'm ready to see the post Dana, not because I dislike Dana, but like I'm ready to see what the post Dana era looks like, because that's what we're gonna have to deal with for who knows how many years. And as far as Perla saying Rogan has in his contract he leaves when Dana leaves, bye. I don't hate Joe Rogan. Don't hate Joe Rogan. I'm just sick of that shit. Like I'm tired of it. You know, let's just move on. Let's get somebody else in here. You know, we'll move down from Goldie. Let's move on from Rogan. Bring somebody else in.
I don't think
or let's keep bitching about the commentary, people. I watch it with no commentary. I watch it on mute. No. Listen,
boxing isn't boxing without Jim Lampley and Al Bernstein on the call.
Off his point, you got to stick to his point. He says, and it is in Rogan's contract. He leaves.
Yeah.
All right. If that's absolutely true, and Rogan actually, because Rogan is a loyal guy.
And he's been cutting his dates. He didn't go to Montreal either.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't go outside of the country anymore. He's afraid of anything outside of the U.S. If you listen to his podcast, I don't listen to his podcast, but the clip was around. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to Canada." You mean you're not going to the country with the nicest people on the planet outside of Switzerland? You're fucking weird, but all right, right? Like he's like, I'm not going. Like he's just, you know, there were ways to get into his head. But anyway, no, like I like to see evolution. I like to see change. I know a lot of people are nostalgic as shit, and it's great. Whenever the NBA does the, you remember the old like 90s NBA on NBC theme song? When that thing pops up, I remember 5th grade, like in that. I'm like, oh shit, NBA on NBC, let's go. You know, you know. So we all love nostalgia, but time stops. I
don't see anybody color-wise better than him right now, though, Eddie. If you look at the Jimmy Smiths, you look at the Luke Thomases, you look at the guys who are doing his job at other places. Luke just did it at XFC. Jimmy, obviously, over in Bellator. His podcast is the biggest in the world, right? And it brings so many eyes back to the fights. When he can have a fighter on there and they're about to have a pay-per-view and he can talk about Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett, and 5 million people can watch him break down the fight before it happens, even if it's not the same breakdown as it used to be 10 years ago or as insightful, just kind of like what we're talking about with Dana, maybe it's lack of. But at the same time, if Joe's willing to do the job, you got to let him do the job. You know,
if he wants to stay,
absolutely better.
If he wants to stay, yeah, right. But I wouldn't be mad at seeing Paul Felder do a pay-per-view. I like Paul Felder's commentary. What's her name?
Laura Sanko.
Thank you, Laura Sanko. Get her on more city fight nights and everything like that. Like you got to keep it moving, man. As much as you know, I tell people all the time that bitch about the next generation. Like Gen Z is a bunch of lazy motherfuckers. I'm like, bitch, it's their world now, not you. We're like at least my generation and the ones above me are older than mine. We're on our way out. The shit we vote on now is not going to affect us. Barely going to affect us. It's going to affect all the kids under us, right? The housing market, you're going to have a hard time buying a home. Everyone in your generation and under is going to have a really hard time buying a home because everyone, our generation.
Don't get me started on rent, Eddie.
I'm telling you, everyone from our generation in the past 4 fucked it. Left and right, left and right, left and right, right? So, end of the day, we got to move on. So I would like to see Paul Felder in there, but again, that's the best part. I don't think you need to bring anyone from the outside because there's no one from the outside that would match a Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Not even Jimmy Smith. And Jimmy Smith is great, right? They had him in the UFC for like 5 minutes. So either way, Rogan's podcast got surpassed by Jason Kelsey's. Oh, Kylie's, what's it called? Fuck, what's her? I forgot her name. I've actually watched a couple of the episodes because she's actually kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry about that. My little brother was giving me a ring there. I'm sure he wants to play Fortnite or something. But anyway, fight fans, we were supposed to have journalist and fellow contributor here to Cageside Press and Home of Fight, Dylan Napoleon, on to break down UFC 316. We're actually going to have him preview that card next week, which works out even better because it's closer towards the event, and he had something come up with work. So we're interested to see his insight on that, and he will be covering the event for us, Cageside there. On pay-per-view in Newark, New Jersey, right, Eddie?
Yep. Yes, sir. New Jersey, 316, 317 is Vegas, 318 is New Orleans. Will also be down Napoleon. 319 will be myself in Chicago. 320 will be myself, hopefully in Mexico.
Yep. It'll be awesome, fight fans. We'll bring you any breaking news from over the weekend, any fight news that comes from boxing, BKFC, anything from the world of combat sports. And then we'll also preview any fight cards that are coming up in the next calendar week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks again.